Big stands at the end of last game. How pleased were you with your guys sealing the deal?
Obviously, you're pleased with the end result. As a coach, you just feel like we had a couple plays we could have made to not make it as so dramatic at the end. But you always like the resiliency of your defense, that they were able to rise, in the most crucial moment. So, you give the kids all the credit in the world, and that's a player's dream to be on the field to win a big game. So, I was really happy for those kids.
Tough challenge this week. Your thoughts going into that?
Navy's always going to be, a challenge. I think they're the #1 rush offense in the country right now. They're a very disciplined bunch, which goes without saying. And running the option, it always presents challenges because they're going to stretch you out from sideline to sideline and give you, a great quarterback run game, a fullback, and obviously getting the ball on the perimeter. So it's going to be a big time challenge for us.
I talked to Kirk yesterday, and he said, everybody has to do their job for this to work. I mean, just expand on that, and going into that, everybody's going to do their job.
Well, it's called the option for a reason. On probably 50% of the plays, they have 3 different options, whether it's the fullback up the middle, quarterback, off tackle, or a pitch player. So you got to have 3 levels of your defense that have to be on the same page, and have to be assignment sound on every play that they run. So obviously, as I said, it's going to test us mentally, but also physically. I think Malcolm Perry is one of the better players in the league. You watch him; he's very, very dynamic. He's one of those guys that makes plays when they shouldn't be there. Makes a lot of people miss. So he adds an extra, dimension to their offense that maybe they didn't have last year.
They don't throw a lot, but they throw a little early on drives and stuff like that. How important is it for you guys to be aware and always ready for that?
Well, the one thing that stood out for them watching them on tape, they are very comfortable with him throwing the ball. I think they are very confident in his ability to read a defense and deliver the football. A lot of times, option quarterbacks you just see as a runner back there that can kind of throw it. I think watching some of the plays that they've run and they've gotten out of the bone formation and gotten in gun, I think they're very comfortable with him as a thrower. So that adds an extra dimension to their offense.
I guess the rules have changed a little bit on cut blocking, especially on the perimeter, but how much of a concern is cut blocking still?
It's always, you have to work on it, and the rules have changed, but there's still a lot of gray area, and to their credit, they're going to push it as much as they can because that's the nature of their offense. So, they still, within those first 5 yards, they're able to cut just like normal. They kind of taken away some of the downfield cuts, but we have to play like we have to prepare like we always have because they're still very, very good at it.
You guys now lead the nation in tackles for loss. Just your thoughts on that, and you guys are making plays. It's not just sacking the quarterback. You guys are stopping the rusher in the backfield too.
Stats are whatever you make of it. Sometimes and I say this, being honest with you, we're leading the nation because we probably give them too many opportunities to make those plays, if you guys know what I'm saying. So it's a great stat to have because, kids are getting in the backfield and making plays. And, I'm always going to be a glass half full guy. I think we've missed a lot of plays in the backfield also. So I see where that stat is. I would say, like I said, versus South Carolina State, we should be near an NCAA record if we make 80% of the plays that we should make when we're in the backfield. But like I said, we're always a defense that tries to make people play left-handed and keep them off balance. So we're getting that part done. We just like to see us kind of finish some plays a little more.
Coach, you say it's a work in progress. Guys are learning, but the confidence on that last drive in the last game against BYU. What does that say about your guys? They didn't look nervous. They weren't yelling at each other. They looked like they were ready to make a big play. And what does that say about them?
I think it speaks to the character and the leadership on that side of the ball, and I'm talking about players from Kirk Livingston to Greg Reeves and Devin Studstill, and guys like that. I think that speaks to their leadership, and in all honesty, it speaks to just preparation. I think they were prepared in that last drive. We do a 2-minute drill every week, and we win some and we lose some. So I guess it was expected, I guess I could say, that we were going to go out there and stop them. But like I said, we made it a lot more dramatic than it needed to be. We could have stopped them about 40 yards before they got to that point, and we didn't get that done.
Trent, Snyder set you guys up pretty well for
Yes,
them
he
to.
did.
How clutch was he in that game?
I mean, to me, that was a play of the game. You know, that was a play of the game because if it's a different kind of punt, they are on a different level of the field. And you guys know U.S. football, when you push them back, you know, on the -30, it's a different type of mindset for them. But if they're in midfield, they could run their offense. They could run the ball if they had to, you know, get back on the ball. So it changed them into more of a pass, you know, type of offense. And even though they hit a couple of plays, it sped up their clock because they had, you know, further to go to score a touchdown. So, like I said, to me, that was the play of the game.
We've been talking about how Boyles has been coming along, but Greer had a huge game too. What do you see out of him?
Another kid, you know, great potential, and the same thing. And they're young kids, you know, they're both sophomores that didn't play a ton last year, so they're learning as the games go by. But, you know, great potential, great athlete, you know, intelligent linebacker, has the makeup to be a really, really good football player. Just got to be more consistent on a play-in, play-out basis. And he's getting there, but, you know, as coaches, you see the mistakes more sometimes than you see some of the plays that are made and you're trying to correct. But world of ability. He's got the ability to be a really good football player.
Coach, you talk about assignment football and the triple option. How important is it, not just for the starting 11 guys, but for the guys that are rotating in? Because they're going to be running the ball a lot. They're going to be rotating. You guys are going to be rotating a lot of guys on B. How important is it for not just the starters, but for everybody to know where their keys are and where their assignments are?
I mean, when they're in the game, and that's what we say, it's not a second team or a first team. When you're in the game, you're the starter. So that's how they look at it. If we put a backup in, he's the starter for that series and he's the starter for that play. So they have to look at it that way. So if they look at themselves as a backup when they're in the game, they'll be backed up on the sideline, standing next to me.
Like that. Thank you.
Thanks.